Rita woke annoyed and confused, which was not an uncommon experience. "Sucker-punching bastard," she said, sitting up and rubbing her aching jaw. She checked her phone. It didn't look like she'd been unconscious long, a minute or two at most. Rita got to her feet, still a little groggy, and slowly made her way off the beach and over to her car. The case just seemed to be getting stranger. She slumped behind the steering wheel and reached for a half-drunk bottle of water that had been sat in the car's passenger footwell for a good week. The water was tepid and a little foul, but it helped drag her the rest of the way back into the light. Nightmares, people in animal masks that seemed to be able to disappear in an instant, and now this man. This strange, pale man with his odd way of talking and eyes that made you want to believe things that were clearly untrue. Carlyle, he'd said his name was. Rita wondered if that was just another lie. She'd have to use the name for now. She reached for a notebook and began to scribble down the events of her beach encounter. This man definitely belonged on the strange column of this case. The column neither her partner or her boss wanted anything to do with, but a column that was getting crowded and impossible to ignore. It was just as she was about to start the car and drive home that something caught her eye in the rearview mirror. It was a man crossing the road about 50 metres away. The man's clothes looked very old-fashioned, like something a gentleman might wear 100 or more years ago. Oh, and he wore a rabbit mask. Rita was almost knocked out for a second time as her skull connected with the window of the door in her rush to exit the car. "Shit," she said, rubbing her head as she stepped out, eyes searching for the rabbit-masked man. She couldn't see him. Rita broke into a run, almost taking out a screaming cyclist as she did so, as she sprinted in the direction it looked like Rabbit Mask had been heading in. Chip shops and souvenir stands stuffed with cheap tourist tat flashed by as she hurtled forward, skidding to a halt at the corner and glancing wildly around for any sight of her quarry. "You!" she shouted, grabbing the shoulders of a startled elderly man. "Police! Me! I'm police! Have you seen a man? Man in a mask!" "What? What man? What are you—" "Rabbit Mask! He must have passed here! Rabbit Mask! Rabbit Mask!" "What the bloody hell are you—" Rita cast him aside and carried on running. How could she have lost him? It wasn't as if he could just blend into the crowd, not with those clothes and the giant bunny ears. There! Wait, it wasn't him. This one was different. He was dressed the same and had a mask on too, but this one looked like a hedgehog. Rita shrugged and ran in the masked man's direction as he headed inside a games arcade. She stood, panting, a few feet into the garish, busy and monstrously loud building. It was all claw games that you never won, penny shove machines and ancient shoot-em-ups. None of the so-called thrills on offer had changed since she was a kid. Rita strode in, dodging the small, whooping children that scuttled by, almost bringing her down to the mangy carpet as she tried to squint past all the flashing lights and catch a glimpse of spines or rabbit ears. A glimpse, that was all, of old Tatty Fur between the hustle and bustle, and Rita was off again, swerving through the public as though she was skiing a slalom. "Oi, you! Stop! Police!" She found herself outside a set of double doors with the word private stencilled on them, and didn't pause for a moment before pushing her way inside. The dim room beyond was stacked high with dusty, broken games machines and large plastic bags full of soft toys, no doubt ready to replenish one of the machines in the arcade, should anyone actually ever manage to win one. Rita slowly pulled out her standard-issue extendable baton and edged further into the room, cushioning the door with one hand as it swung close, masking the noise. She needn't have bothered. It quickly became apparent that she was alone. That's not possible. She began to search the room, looking for another way out, a window, a door, a fire exit. But there was nothing. There was only one way out, and that was the way she came in. Rabbit Mask had come through here, though. She was certain of it. "Shit, shit, shit!" Rita sagged and leaned against the wall. It took a few moments to realise cool air was pooling around her ankles. Cool air that was emerging from the crack beneath the door she was leaning upon. A door that she was very, very sure had not been there moments ago.